I want to do a podcast about films.
I'm not stopping you.
No, with you fool.
Oh, so you mean you want us to do a podcast about films?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say that?
I did. I am.
Well, you can't say films. You need to say movies. It's a more broadly recognised term.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. Are you interested?
We can't just talk about films we like. That would be boring.
Okay, then what about films we don't like?
That sounds even more boring.
Okay, how about this? Films we disagree on.
Ah, intriguing. So one of us likes it, the other one doesn't. And we discuss our opinions on the film?
I think you mean movie.
Yeah, don't worry about that now.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
All right, I'm in.
Great.
Could still be boring, though.
You're boring.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Should we do one now? Hello and welcome to Movie the Needle. My name's Simon and I'm joined by my good friend Carl, and this week we are completing our Scorsese trilogy with a 2013 black comedy based on the true story of Jordan Belfort, a wealthy stockbroker who lived a high life filled with crime, corruption, lavish parties, sex and a lot of drugs. It recounts Belfort's career as a stockbroker in New York City and how his firm, Stratton Oakmont, engaged in rampant corruption and fraud on Wall Street. Hilarity ensues. It's The Wolf of Wall Street. All right, Carl.
All right.
How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
That might be the longest time I've looked directly into your eyes before talking.
Stared me out.
I'm aroused, I'll be honest.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. How are you doing? What have you been up to? Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I've not been up to anything yet. Seemingly, I've been very, very busy.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah, so I hardly watched any films, which was really disappointing. I think, in fact, only this one, I think.
I'll be honest. Why we decided to do a podcast, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
What was I doing? I have watched fuck all this week, apart from this movie. Distracted by other non-podcast, even life commitments. And plus, I did take Theo to his first ever gig.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Who's that?
So it's probably not going to be your thing, I'll be honest. But it's Paloma Faith.
No, I don't really have any opinions.
Yeah. Good. He was by far the youngest person there. And
does that make you an irresponsible parent?
Quite possibly. I mean, she did walk out with a shirt that just said "slut" on it. So a strong start. Obviously, the few F-bombs, few C-bombs.
She might be my thing.
A song called "Eat Shit and Die." I was like, just sing along, eat shoes and die.
It sounds a bit edgelordy.
Yeah. But he loved it. Like, it was great, and it's the first time I've been to a gig for ages as well. And I forgot how good it was just to actually hear live music. It's awesome. But yeah, that did mean music. Well, I suppose. But that did mean that that did take up a key movie watching night for me. So I have literally watched nothing. So talk to me. What have you?
Well, I've got some exciting news.
Ooh.
Checked on the way over here. We've got an email.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
Maybe.
I'll read it out. Right. Are you ready? Hang on.
It's not it's not spam, is it? Is it
this
Nigerian
is this is from Ben from Buffer. One of your updates has just been posted.
Thanks. Right.
So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen that one. Yeah. They're most of the time, most days we get that one.
Maybe someday actual listeners will email in.
Well, I did get sent a voice note the other day.
A voice note?
Yeah. I'm not sure I have legal clearance to play it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, let's not do that yet.
Probably best not to at the moment.
So seriously, on the feedback thing, we've both had some feedback. Not through official channels, which needs rectifying.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's get out of our WhatsApp and get on the emails and the socials. Let's spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of it was even positive, so that was nice.
Yeah.
But you got some good stuff that we briefly discussed from your mate on the Tenet episode, and I don't want to address too much of that directly here because we said we might save it all up.
Sure.
And
we'll do a mailbag show.
Yeah, do some sort of mailbag thing. But there was one point in there which I found interesting, and I think we should have a quick chat about it because then I've got a question for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So it kind of follows on to the discussion we were having on last week's pod about plot versus story, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
which I definitely didn't know the difference. But
no,
it makes sense, the explanation that you gave. So
yeah,
you're going to change what you said now?
No. I'm just going to sort of take that on a bit, and then I think it overlaps into an interesting sort of question or approach to films, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
And to go with what you just said, I didn't know what it was until recently either.
Okay, cool.
But it is one of the most positive learnings, I suppose you could say.
Sure.
It's really helped my enjoyment of films because now I spend less time picking a film apart for its plot holes and getting in the way of my own enjoyment.
And more going along with the story?
Going along with the story and just relaxing, and then, it'll land or it won't, that's fine, but I won't necessarily be the problem there. Okay, so your friend made a good point about if you sort of don't understand it, is that the film kind of not doing what it's supposed to.
Narratively, I think is what he'd said.
Yeah, now we've discussed this a little bit. I would say that in the case of Tenet, what you're really saying is you don't understand the plot. Understandable. A lot of people don't say they understand the plot. In fact, the first time I watch it, I didn't understand the plot. But I don't think that necessarily means the story has failed, which was the point I tried to make with Tenet, and also how I now try to watch most films.
Okay.
My question is, the interesting thing is, how much do you want a film to take you along with it and make sure you understand the plot and all the intricacies? And how much are you willing to be left behind? How much do you think a film should risk leaving its viewers behind?
So I like to be taken along with a film, right? So I want to escape into their world. I want to be completely in on it and brought along with it. Now, if it asked me to do too much thinking about things that I don't understand, I feel that probably would take me out of that, and therefore it would maybe impact my enjoyment potentially.
But again, thinking about plot versus story, and I'm not saying that you can't have a plot that is so bad that it takes you out. Of course, that's the thing. But again, thinking about plot versus story, plot is only one element or tool that you're using to take you along for that ride, isn't it? Story's only one as well. You've got like production, sound, whatever. Cinematography.
You're also
throwing out words there.
You are also another tool that I use to enjoy films.
Yeah, right. Well. More of a retrospective tool.
Yeah. Unit name right there. Your retrospective tool.
Yeah. Because directors you hear directors talk about this too. In fact, Nolan's one of them. He's often asked, "What do you worry about your audience's not understanding of it?" And his thing is, you know, at a point, if you're going to be true to what you're trying to do, you've just got to say fuck it and leave them behind. Ridley Scott has a similar thing, although he wouldn't necessarily get criticised for plots being confusing. More like, Ridley, this is not historically accurate and it's stupid. But again, he just goes like, fuck off, it's my film. You'll like it. I think it's really cool, and you will too, or you won't. So yeah, I think it's interesting to figure out sort of what you actually want out of a film. And
well, I think the real answer is that I don't know. It depends. It probably changes week to week.
yeah. Because we also discussed this a little bit about murder mysteries, right?
Yes, yeah.
A good murder mystery should definitely leave you behind. It's on you to keep up.
So was your point with a murder mystery is that you should, in theory, be able to solve it?
You should be able to solve it, but to do that, they've got to risk leaving you behind.
Yeah.
And what they do instead, murder mysteries these days, is they spoon feed you everything. Well, they do it two ways, right? They spoon feed you what you're supposed to see when you're supposed to see it, or they obfuscate it when you're not supposed to be able to work it. We're just trying to confuse you now. You're supposed to feel confusion right now. So, well, I am confused. Yeah, good. Job done. So yeah, I definitely prefer a film that gives you a bit of ambiguity to give you some wiggle room, and I think I didn't get Tenet the first time, but I really thought it dangled some interesting ideas. I thought, I'm gonna have a good old think about this, and sort of.
I think I need to have a think of a similar type, not similar type of films, but something of similar apparent complexity that maybe I've gone on the other side of it, where I've gone like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
It's not just complex plots though, right? Sometimes it can be absence of them. So you think like a film that's designed to make you feel something. I'm thinking of Lost in Translation. Very little plot in that film.
Well, we might talk about Lost in Translation further down the line. Who knows?
After Sun. I don't know if you've watched that yet.
No, I haven't actually.
After Sun, very little plot, but it gives you loads of room to do your sort of own thinking, and what's this really saying? And yeah, and I really like that. I've got to say, and I definitely don't need to be spoon-fed a film. I prefer not to be.
But then I also like a film where it can be completely character focused and dialogue heavy, almost like a play, right? But not actually anything happens, so there's no story or plot, and it's just you're spending time with these characters and you're finding things out. So
yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
It's another interesting thing to think about, anyway. In that,
okay, that's what I need.
What's going
more
on
things
with,
to think about while I'm watching a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Good.
Right. Have you got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
So before we move on to the film, apologies.
Yes, I do have an apology.
Well, so do I. But one was sent in, and this was from a loyal listener.
I'll tell you what, you go first.
Okay.
Because nobody would have heard that episode yet. I was going to say maybe they're super sharp and they picked up the thing I should be apologising for.
No.
But you
no.
go.
Yeah, so loyal listener Neve has been in touch to inform us that we mispronounced the name of the lead actor in About Time. So apparently it is Donald Gleeson, not Domhnall Gleeson, which we said. So it does look like we can add Ireland to the list of countries that we may have offended, or I may have offended. I don't know.
I know.
Right, let's say we.
It's a joint thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's a plus. I mean, adding to the list. But
quite
apologies,
the list.
Donald.
Donald, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Fair play to the lad.
Yeah, I mean, why put the M and the H in there? Fine, just trying to confuse us, are you?
Hey, listen, that is far from the most. That is far from the most confusing Irish name I've ever seen.
Oh, what's the Liverpool goalkeeper? How's he pronounce his name?
Queefin.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to get...
I mean, he says Queefin or whatever, but it's Queefin, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your apology?
Well, it's actually to Susan Sarandon and Sigourney Weaver.
Oh.
Just as a throwaway comment, when we were talking about aliens last week, I said Susan. I think you said Susan Sarandon. I was like, aliens.
Oh, right.
And we moved past it, and I realised afterwards,
jokes.
and it's been eating me all week. I meant Sigourney Weaver, didn't I?
I think they are two people that do get often confused a little bit, but not.
I know who they
really
are.
With aliens. Yeah.
Susan Sarandon plays Joey's love interest in Days of Our Love. When you can't get those mixed up. Oh, Days of Our Lives.
There we
go.
Yeah. God, that would have eaten away at you if you got the.
Yeah, no, thanks for that.
Oof. Thank goodness. We move on to perhaps the most important part of this and why we're all here.
Yeah.
Which is the beer.
I think this continues to be great audio content.
I also really need this beer. I've had a real year. If it's alcohol free, I might kick off. So let's see as Carl delves into his sac magique.
So you want a beer?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I've got some of that non-alcoholic shit.
You don't, do you?
Yeah, it's like beer, but it's got no alcohol in it.
No. Oh, yeah, I like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a callback. I like
No, but I have actually got you a non-alcoholic beer.
I mean, it looks like it. Yeah,
So I thought I would at least, we'd try pick one that has got a reference to the film, and if there's no direct reference, I'll try to be a bit meta, but there was a direct reference.
It was.
Non-alcoholic. I thought I'd at least try pick as what looks to be a good non-alcoholic beer.
I like the alcoholic version of this beer.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be disappointing. It's lively, little fucker.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, sorry, keyboard.
I don't know if I know we do say what these are, don't we?
Oh, we should go into a bit more detail as well, because one of them might want to send us free cases because of all of our thousands of listeners.
Yeah, this is.
I have poured this like an absolute chump. What is
what
this?
The people are there for.
What have you been doing with these? Just running around with them? And yours?
Yeah.
Jeez, I have a flake with that one. Anyway, so it is a Kirkstall Brewery Virtuous Low Alcohol IPA.
Oh, it's not bad,
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it the same as most alcohol-free IPAs? It just lacks the body.
It's not bad. It's far from the worst on that front.
Oh, go on then, Kirkstall. I'll
Yeah.
allow it.
All right, so there we go.
Thank you very much.
You can blame the Wolf of Wall Street for that.
Here's a good bit of the film, actually. I really did quite enjoy that bit.
Yeah, this will be you in a few. I just can't imagine never getting fucked up.
All right, let's move on to the film for today, which, as we said earlier, is The Wolf of Wall Street. But before we get into our general impressions, just a quick reminder of our simple 5-point scale. We rate this film on whether we really don't like it, are ambivalent, like it, or really like it. So maximum 4-point swing between the two of us. We're going to be somewhere different on this scale, or we've really fucked up. So
It's been known.
Yeah, it has been known. So I will go first. I really like this movie.
I don't like this movie.
I don't like, so that's a 3-pointer.
It's
3
degrees of
3
disagreement.
degrees. So the reason, and I'm going to keep this brief, unlike what you will, but the reason why I really like it is that I actually find it funny. I found it entertaining. I found it obscene, ridiculous, enjoyable, ludicrous at times, and oftentimes shocking in its portrayal of debauchery and such. I pretty much just went along for the ride with this one. It was one that swept me along. Enjoyable little 3 hours. When I first watched it, actual tears of laughter. We talked about this on a previous pod. Have I actually cried with laughter in a movie? I think this might have actually been one of them that I did when I saw it in the cinema back in 2013. What about you, Carl? What don't you like?
Insurance companies.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, well, fuck the bit, because I'm having a rant. Particularly travel insurances.
What's
Companies
happened?
offering travel insurance. So I've had a little weekend trip booked recently,
Oh, yes.
and the airline turned around and cancelled the flights.
Bastards. But
They did their bit, allowed me to rearrange them. Couldn't go to the same place, but I've arranged them to go somewhere else. Free of charge. I have several other bookings that go along with booking a trip, including an excursion.
sure.
And I've managed to resolve everything except the hotel, because I booked it on the non-refundable rate. Because why wouldn't I? It's cheaper, and I've got travel insurance. So I've got to get the hotel refunded. So I go to my insurance, which reckons to be a very good one, as it happens.
Is it 5-star de facto rating?
Yeah,
whatever?
bangs the drum about its level of cover and its low excess and all these sorts of things.
It's not something you said about this film.
No. And I go to do the claim. So the easiest way to do a claim is to use our online form. Bollocks. So you go onto the form, and there are some fields which it insists is mandatory, right? And I don't have the information to fill these fields out. They make no sense for my claim. So I ring the helpline after all, and they say, "Oh, don't worry about these fields. Just put this in it." So, right, so they're not mandatory then? No. And it won't matter? No, it's fine. Right, great. So I do that, and then it says, we've received your claim. Here's your number. You will receive a letter of confirmation from us within immediately. Ooh. You'll receive that immediately, and then someone will pick your claim up and contact you again within 24 hours.
Sure.
Bollocks. So I don't get anything. I leave it till so I've literally just got this number that's on my screen.
25 hours?
No, I leave it. No, it's supposed to come immediately.
Oh,
so I leave it a few hours. I ring in the afternoon. Look, it says this. Oh no, well you won't get anything until someone picks it up. Yes, that's not what it says. It says I'll get something else. Oh, okay. I'll arrange to have that resent. That should be with you in the next few minutes. Bollocks. Right, didn't show up. So I ring again the next day, which has now gone 24 hours beyond. So not only should I have that fucking confirmation, someone should have picked it up and contacted me now.
Yep.
So I ring them back up again. Well, what it was quite a backlog at the moment. So it won't have been, somebody won't have picked it up. They should be picking it up today. Again, not what the website says, is it? Somebody did eventually pick up that day, and I got my confirmation to say, we're processing your claim. Great. The next day, I get a further email to say, you need to provide us with some information about why your flight was cancelled. Now, when I processed the claim, I uploaded the documentation to say my flight's been cancelled. It was what the airline sent me to say it's been cancelled. And then it says on the end of this email, if you've any queries about your claim, give us a call on this number. So I did. I went, yeah, they need more reasons. Well, what it is, because it's commercial reasons, we need to know what those commercial reasons are. So, how would I know that?
No.
How the fuck would I know that? Right. And went, oh, yeah, I see your point. Yeah, right. I was like, you call it what you want. I don't care. They've cancelled my flight. I can show you that. I've got insurance, whatever. It should be open and shut. And they go, okay, right, yeah. I'll get on to the person handling your claim. So, all right, is that not one of you then? It's like, no, we're just a triage team. It's just that the email says this is the number to ring if you want to discuss the handling of your claim. So, oh, well, I can put a note on your account. So, and that always works well, doesn't it? People putting notes on your account. And then I said, oh, what's this about? Yeah, well, we don't, for some commercial reasons, we don't pay out. No, that sounds sketchy. Anyway, whatever. Hang up the phone. I then go read the policy wording. Fucking no mention of that, right? There's nothing in the policy wording that suggests they're not going to cover this. It's absolutely open and shut as far as I can see. So I ring her back. Say, listen, what are you talking about? Where are these terms? Well, I don't actually have the policy in front of me. Well,
so you just made up.
So get it up then. Well, exactly. Like, it's just... Oh, well, again, we are just a triage team. I was like, right, I'll put another note on it to say if they do reject it, you want to know exactly where the policy... And it's like, that's a fucking given, isn't it? If they do reject it, they've got to tell you why.
They spin the wheel of policy and see what comes up, and you may win, you might lose. But
so, it's... anyway, this was coming up 2 days ago now, and she goes, I reckon you get this issue today. I think it should be fine. Oh, right, yeah, you've really filled me with confidence so far, I have to say. Anyway, I've not heard anything. So I'll be ringing them back tomorrow, which will be past the upper limit of what they said was how long it will take to turn the claim around, and we'll see how we go. But until then, they are firmly on the shit list.
All right, well, you've been listening to Insurance Watchdog. You be careful out there, people.
Yeah, cunts.
So what don't you like about the film, Carl?
Well, what film? All right. So I'm going to keep this really breezy.
Sure.
Can I not pull that off? No, you're not buying that. Okay. Right. So there are films that sort of capture or shed light on big businesses, banks, Wall Street, or whatever. There are films that do that well, and I'm thinking of things like The Big Short, which is a great film.
Margin Call. Is that one?
I've not seen that one. Wall Street, which was the most obvious comparison to this I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And Scorsese usually likes to get a bit of that in. He does build worlds, right? We talked about this on the last episode in particular. He does build worlds. He usually leaves you with a pretty good explanation of what's going on. There's an understanding when you think about the mafia pieces of there's a hierarchy and
sure.
This, that, and the other, and a bit of backstory for characters and all the rest of it. I don't know if you've seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet. He goes into quite a bit of sort of backstory on that as well, and he's half-arsing it here, and he pulls back from it on more than one occasion. And Leonardo DiCaprio actually to camera turns around and says, "Yeah, but who cares about all this load of bollocks?" And we just abandon it, right?
Well, you go, "Me, I care. Tell me the technicalities."
Yeah. Well, the thing is. Without that world building, it just drops straight back into this overblown debauchery, and that's all this movie is, right? The characters are not very well rounded when you compare it to his previous efforts. I certainly, maybe there are some, but I did not notice as many sort of like awesome bits of cinematography, which is something else we've commented on and associate with Scorsese. There are some there, but I didn't find that to be a dominant element of this film at all. And then, despite one absolute shit Jordan Belfort is, Wall Street's Gordon Gekko makes Belfort seem like a fucking circus clown. It's like a caricature. He's like, it's ridiculous. So, like I said, all we're left with is that outrageous debauchery. Now, being fair, and from what you said in your intro, what's the problem with that? Stop taking it so seriously. Fair enough. And I think at the first time I watched this, and I've only watched this twice, I had fun with it for a while. I think it fell off. I had fun with it for a while. This time, there are still some funny moments, which I am sure we will discuss at length. I just think it was too long. It needs tightening up, and I don't just mean the overall length. I mean, like, even some of the funny scenes, especially once you've seen them and you know what's happening, are just way too long, and it's like, oh, you're really dragging the arse out of this now. So overall, and, I could have just said this one sentence. I don't think it's good enough to pull off being a 3-hour comedy. And as a comedy, I think, because of the stuff I said at the start, is the only way you can take this film, and you described it as a black comedy. And I just don't think it's good enough to pull off being 3 hours.
All right. Okay, and before we move on, though, I know how much you enjoyed the games, Carl. So we did.
I love the games.
Come up with a bit of a fun one because we've done 3 Scorsese films already. So we've covered some of the key things. Something a little bit different at the end, where we're going to be picking our 5-a-side football teams of Scorsese characters.
Mate, I've got a subbench.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to really love how seriously you've taken this. It'll be fantastic. So, yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
We'll close things out with that.
We could cut straight to that. Fuck this off.
We're going to move on to the cast now. But I do just want to call back. You used the word dominant earlier, and I was going to correct you and say, actually, I think it's dominant. I think we've got that wrong. Just calling back to the Domhnall Gleeson.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then I missed the opportunity. He kept on talking. But
no, it's fine. I think you've made your point. You're just having a dig at the Irish.
Yep. Anyway, let's talk about the cast. So, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio makes a 3rd appearance on the podcast in our, what is our 11th episode, I think. So apparently we just watch nothing but Leo films.
We do nothing but disagree about Leonardo DiCaprio films.
Yeah, he's a very divisive figure apparently. Yeah. I wonder if he'll be divisive in this. Let's see. Carl, what do you make of Leo in this one?
No notes.
No notes? What do you mean no notes?
Well, he's perfectly cast, isn't he?
Oh, right, okay, fine. That's fine. I thought you were just like, I'm sick of talking about him.
I didn't want to say perfectly cast, because you see this all the time. People go like, no notes, and then go on to say, no notes, perfectly cast. That's a fucking note, you idiot.
Do you know the most annoying thing that I find that people happen?
Presented without comment?
No, what?
Have you not seen that as well? When people go, presented without comment. It's like, if you presented it without comment, you don't need to say presented without comment.
So you know how when you're maybe presenting something, right? And then there's someone else there, right? And you kind of maybe doing a bit of they also know some stuff, and you kind of go, is there anything else you wanted to add? And they go, no. Apart from you go, why say no? Don't lead with no if you're going to say yes. Just say yes, there is something to say. Or say no and stop talking. Yeah. Because what you just said, it probably wasn't important anyway.
How often do you find yourself going, yeah, no?
Yeah, no, yeah, but no, but.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Filler words to make us all sound like idiots, don't they?
Yeah, indeed.
Leo.
So Leo, yeah, I mean, it was. I felt this was a very Leo performance. It was right in his wheelhouse. I think he got to show a few sides of the Leo thing and some physical comedy.
He was very good when he was doing like the yelping and the things. He was very funny.
Yeah. Which maybe not seen quite so much in his other things that I could spring to mind. So I thought adding a little bit to his bow there. Yeah. He got paid a quarter of the film's budget for his fee.
What was the budget?
$100 million.
Oh, big
so,
bucks.
Yeah, $25 million. I think he also produced it. So I'm not sure how that works, because if he's also kind of financing the film but pays himself $25 million, I don't understand how that side of business works. They didn't cover it in Entourage, so well,
is that where all your film?
Yeah, basically. Also? Yeah.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought similar to you. I thought it's difficult to. It's easy to think of alternatives. It's difficult to think of.
No one's going to do it better.
Yeah, no one's going to do it better. To it. So there we go. We don't really need to speak too much about Leo. We've spoke about him enough.
Nope, absolutely. He's nailed it.
All right. And now we move on to another second appearance on the podcast for Jonah Hill.
Well, I thought he was relatively interesting for Jonah Hill, this one, because it was less of the sort of over-the-top college humour. It's over the top in a different way. But
I mean, very over the top.
Yeah, but this one is a bit more sleazy, and he's a bit of an oddball, right? Rather than just the brash college kid or whatever that swears a lot. I mean, it swears a lot.
Yeah, so basically he's not in college, is basically what you're saying. It's the difference.
He's definitely different. He's like... He's odd. He's like straight up odd.
Yeah, definitely odd performance. I mean, he's definitely got the obnoxious arsehole
of course,
down pat.
Leopard can't change his spots.
Yeah. I'm just impressed he's managed to act with those teeth in, and be able to actually, understand what he's saying. 'Cause that has got to take some skill.
Apparently, he worked very hard to get this role.
Yeah, I read that he actively asked to be auditioned, but had already been offered it, which seems odd. Why would you want to audition?
Really?
So he was like, no, I don't want to be given it. I want to audition. It was the first time he's auditioned for anything.
I read that he was like begging his way for it. It was like, you can pay me anything. I just want to be in a Scorsese film or whatever. Who knows?
Maybe this one was the one. Is this one where he took the minimum? Like he took like $60,000 or something.
That's what I'd read for this one.
Maybe it was that one. Then. Maybe I'm getting confused with another one.
Has it been in another Scorsese, or are you just talking about another big film?
Maybe another actor. I don't know.
A different time and place.
I read a lot for these podcasts. It can get confusing. If only I had notes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Oscar nominated for this, Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Oscar nominated for wanking off with a fake dick.
Yep.
And eating a live fish, or at least having a live fish in his mouth for a maximum of 3 seconds, because that was all he was allowed before he had to spit it out.
Oh wow!
Don't want a goldfish dying on your deer.
No,
what would you do with it?
Yeah,
I can't get rid of that in the toilet.
I thought he was pretty good. In this.
He was enjoyable, and some excellent lines that he delivered with his usual style of delivery, and landed. And as it's Scorsese, heavily improvised as well in parts. So never know what stuff's scripted, what stuff is not. But yeah, liked him. Let's throw in a female.
Margot. She's good, but she's no Stone. And I'm really glad we watched this one after Casino.
We referenced. I made reference when we were talking about Sharon Stone last week. I think I said, "Yeah, it might be a different story next week for you." What you were saying.
Yeah, I'm really glad we did it because there's a lot of similarities between these films. The way it's put together. Obviously, the subject's different. She is good. I didn't believe her breakdown as much as Stone's when she was Ginger in Casino. But I don't know.
Did she have a breakdown?
Yeah, of course she did when she's like trying to take the kid away from him and all the rest of it.
Oh, right, yeah, different kind of breakdown.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I don't know how much of... She was so much shallower than Ginger, and I don't know how much of that is not her fault. It's the fault of the character, the fault of the script. Yeah. So she was fine, and I do like her, but it's not her. It's far from an all-timer performance, I think.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much her debut film performance. It's quite the introduction. I think she plays the role as written as well as you could, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Definitely brings the sexuality, and definitely believable that someone like Belfort would leave his wife for her and kind of abandon all of his previous seeming morals that he may have had.
Yeah, all right.
right at the start, where right at the start. She was only 22 when this was done, so fits right in Leonardo DiCaprio's wheelhouse.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Very believable.
Oh yeah, he wasn't acting, was he?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by the time it was released, maybe she was out of the range.
Yeah, he's not returning my calls anymore. Yeah. Arm on the shoulder. Listen, Mark, let me tell you something about Leo.
Who else have you got for cast that you want to talk about? Because I've got a few, but
well, I've got three of the more minor characters I thought were worth a mention. My first one, I'm a big fan of Kyle Chandler.
Oh, I love Kyle Chandler. I actually love him. Would have his babies if that was possible.
I thought he was very good in this. I know he's only got a minor part, but they have that scene on the boat.
Yes.
And Chandler is just oozing charisma in that. He is... he's outwitting, he's outdoing Belfort on there. And he plays that so well, Chandler. I thought he was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I said I love him. He's one of my favourite actors. When I see him in anything, I'm just like, oh, he's going to be good.
Daddy.
He's going to be good, yeah. Have you watched Friday Night Lights, the
Yes.
TV series? Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly because of that I've got this such strong connection to him. Not with him. He does
I wish
not,
he could coach me football.
Yeah. I could be shit too. he does the Boy Scout with a strong moral compass, but with a bit more something about him. And he lays on like the charm and stuff, and that boat scene in particular, like how he plays that he's kind of quite meek and then sort of flips the switch, playing with him basically,
running rings around him. Really is.
Definitely stand up to Leo's, pretty big actor, character thing. Stood up to him, and in no way, shape, or form was it like overshadowed in those scenes that they shared.
Absolutely, I couldn't explain it, but you see it in films, don't you, where somebody steals a scene, and that is what actors like DiCaprio do, because they have that on-screen charisma and presence, and it can be difficult to get someone to measure up to them in a scene where it's required like it was there, and he nails it, I think, Chandler. Have you seen Bloodline? So it was
another TV
Netflix
series.
TV
No,
series.
I've not seen it.
Carl Chandler's the lead in that.
Yeah.
The first series is fantastic.
Is that based on a boat or something, or some part of it?
It's just a boat and a logo.
Was there?
Is it based on a boat? I mean, there's a boat in it. Yeah.
Maybe in the trailer there was a boat.
No, you like Carl Chandler. You will love that.
Excellent. I also called out Matthew Mahon. Jeez, let's try that again.
Yeah, I'll leave this in though.
I also called out Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So it's basically an extended cameo.
Yes.
Right, but I don't know. It seems he's great value for it, and he's quite an important character, and he's just, I don't know, he's pretty magnetic in it, because it's a very odd.
He was the next one on my list, and I wrote cool as fuck.
He's an odd fellow, but you're kind of there, like hanging on every word, going, okay.
I mean, besides obviously Carl Chandler, who's on the right side of things, Matthew McConaughey was probably the only character I actually liked in this.
I mean,
on that side of
I
things,
agree. I think
he was cool.
It's hard to think of anyone else that's likable.
Yeah,
I mean, intentionally. I don't think you're meant to like a lot of the characters. If you do, you've probably misinterpreted this film. But there we go.
Interesting.
Who else did you call out?
I didn't get his name. I forgot to look up his name. But the dad.
Oh, you didn't get his name.
No.
You know who that is?
Is it Rob Reiner or something?
Rob Reiner.
Like that? Yeah.
Right. You know who Rob Reiner is?
He was in. This is Spinal Tap. He played.
He
like
directed.
The director.
This is Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah, but he has a cameo.
Yeah. He also acts, but
yeah.
So this is a little bit of a sidebar with Rob Reiner. I think we've talked about it on the pod. 3 film runs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's directed some pretty good movies, right? And I was looking at this because I knew it was Rob Reiner, and I was like, I'll just have a look at little research. And I was like, what has he done? So, his 3 film run as a director that I'm going to put to you is Stand By Me.
Okay.
The Princess Bride. When Harry Met Sally.
Fair enough.
Pretty good, right?
Can you stretch it to 4? What's either side of those?
So there's The Sure Thing before Stand By Me, which I've not seen.
Never heard of it.
It's got John Cusack.
Oh yeah.
In it, playing what looks to, from the trailer I've watched, a very say anything kind of role potentially. But I've not seen it, so very much just
decent John Cusack, don't mind.
Yeah, I like John Cusack, but before that was Spinal Tap.
Yeah, you can't have before that.
I know, that's what I mean. So it's like, nearly.
What was after it?
After When Harry Met Sally, it is Misery.
Never heard of it.
Kathy Bates won an Oscar for leading actress in it.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
It's got James Caan in it. Not seen it either. So potentially, but not as highly thought of and rated generally as those other 3.
Yeah.
But after that,
No,
I know, but A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
After that, so it's like, so close to having. That was from 1984 to 1992. And I don't know, how does that compare to the McTiernan run for you?
Oh, the McTiernan run's clear, I think. I don't think.
And just for the.
I mean, we've spent a very, very small amount of time looking at this. So this bold claim I'm about to make is ludicrous. But I don't think the McTiernan run's going to be topped. I mean, it's
just go through the 3.
I can't remember the order, but you've got Predator,
Hunt
for Red October, and then Die Hard. Die Hard. Die Hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid 3.
Incredible.
But yeah, that was definitely one that stood out to me. And going, it's up there. That is up there.
Yeah, fair play. He was good in this though.
He was good in this as well. Yeah, he was great. And some of my favourite scenes are the ones with with what's his name, Mad Max Belfort, in it, and where they're kind of playing with him, and I thought he was very good, and you kind of think like, you could definitely be his dad, like you could definitely be.
Yeah.
And the only other couple that I've called out, and I'm not got much to say about, but Joanna Lumley's in it.
Yes.
And I was just like, there you go.
I mean, I haven't written it down, but if we're going to recast her, it'd be Helen Mirren.
Sure.
One of the two, innit?
Yeah, why not? And then
we need an old British woman. Joanna's busy.
The only other one I wanted to call out, and not particularly because he's particularly strong or weak or whatever, but John Bernthal. Bernthal?
Yes.
Bit typecast in the...
Yes.
Literally everything I've seen of him, he's pretty much playing the same sort of aggressive, angry...
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. But it was fine. It finally does it well. Don't get me wrong, but it was very much like, you've seen him in other things and gone like, perfect, well hired.
Yeah.
So what have you got for recasting them?
So for...
I've got loads this week.
Oh, good. So for Belfort, I've mentioned this guy before, but I think he's very good. I think he could definitely do a version of Belfort, Chris Evans.
Yeah, I struggle with Chris Evans, right? Because
Yes, what have you seen that's put you off him?
I've not put off him. I just can't get past Captain America in the Marvel stuff. And you've not...
Now, the Marvel and DCU film, this is where actors go to die. This is a problem. They really... I don't watch them. I don't watch. I don't have to be weighed down by that.
Yeah, and I do struggle. I've not seen him in... I've seen him in some stuff. Obviously, he's in...
Knives Out.
Knives Out, yeah, that was the one I was thinking of, thank you. But beyond that, I've not seen him in a great deal. Fantastic Four and stuff like that. But again, that's
I don't watch it, mate.
Early crap Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the... I know you don't watch the Marvel thing, but the good Marvel bit, which is well worth watching.
Right.
He's in that, and he's obviously in a lot of it. That's a big part of his a block of his career. So I do struggle to get past that. I'm not saying he couldn't do it at all, but...
Well, I did have one more. See what you think of this one. Josh Hartnett.
Is this after having seen him in Oppenheimer and
No,
he's still alive?
No, I'm thinking pre-Hartnett when he's still that sort of smug young man.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe when he's back in his pomp when he was in things. I literally thought he was dead before he appeared in Oppenheimer. I was just like, is that Josh Hartnett?
I thought he was dead.
The other people that I've got, one is not really such as a recasting, but it is, do you know who was interested in playing Belfort
Oh, go on.
when Ridley Scott was down to direct? Can you imagine Ridley Scott directing this? I mean, not this. Like, surely not.
Mate, I don't know.
Not
It'd
this
be
version.
all that different.
What do you reckon? I don't know.
Yeah. Because the way I have seen this film is exactly the sort of film I can imagine Ridley Scott making. I was expecting more depth from Scorsese also.
Anyway, Brad Pitt. I struggled to see it not in the same movie. Not in.
It's not
You'd have to
enough.
be different. Yeah, you'd have to be different.
Enough. It doesn't do that.
Wouldn't have worked for me.
No.
So the only I had another couple. So Jake Gyllenhaal.
I thought about him before I went with Hartnett.
I think he can do it. He's got the range to be able to do do all of it. I reckon.
He's a little too intense. I think I don't see him as the sillier bits. I guess.
You've seen Roadhouse, right?
That boy needs to talk to his agent.
And then Ryan Reynolds was my other one.
No, Ryan Reynolds is nowhere near serious enough.
But he proved he can do the monologue narration and breaking the fourth wall.
In what's this?
Again, you won't have seen it because it's Deadpool, so it's kind of
I haven't seen it. No.
Thing,
but if he's anything like Ryan Reynolds,
I mean, he's Ryan Reynolds.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's sort of the problem. I'm like, no, I think he's too silly. I wouldn't buy him in the other stuff.
What other characters have you got?
Jonah Hill, Sam Rockwell. I can really imagine Sam Rockwell sat around the swimming pool going, I just can't imagine not getting fucked up.
So I had Gordon Levitt, Joseph Gordon Levitt for this. Different kind of angle.
I don't
he
think.
might have
Well,
gone for
no, I was going to say I don't think he's weird enough. But then Third Rock from the Sun.
I think he can do weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
So yeah, that was the one I had for Donnie. What about Naomi instead of Margot Robbie?
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, I like Mila Kunis.
Because you need somebody who is that sort of doe-eyed looker, for want of a better term, who is also capable of being a bit of a brat.
So I went for Blake Lively on the Ryan Reynolds theme here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, know who she is. I couldn't tell you a film she's in. Give me some films.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Seen her in stuff.
Because she's blonde.
Seen her in stuff. I kind of think, I think she...
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
And of course, Emily Blunt.
Of course, I mean, yeah. I mean, she would actually be ridiculous in this.
Listen, you wash your mouth out.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it, don't get me wrong. But
let's move on.
I've got a few other minor characters. So Max's Mad Max, his dad.
Yeah, I've actually got a funny one for this, I think.
John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman would be very good as Mad Max. He would be very good.
I thought that was a good call.
Yeah,
I think that's my best one I've done.
I think that is your Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, that's it. I can retire.
Yeah,
I'll just let you do these from now.
That is no, you can't do that.
And I thought if we were going to recast John Bernthal's character, Frank Grillo.
What's he been in?
Loads of stuff. I'll find you a picture as you're looking at the things because you go, oh, that guy.
Yeah. So, my funny the thing that made I was really making myself laugh when I was thinking about who else could play Max, and Frank Grillo is who are you doing him for?
For John Bernthal's character.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what his name
is. That's not a bad shout. He's quite funny, Frank Grillo. So Mad Max. I thought. I was really making myself laugh with this. The bush scene.
It's the main thing, as long as you do that.
Yeah, the bush scene.
Yes.
Like, what? No, but I was just pissing myself laughing at Joe Pesci. Right? Going, really? No bush? I was like, I was born to say, get a load of it. It's just no bush. Like, and I'm thinking, like, you mix his Home Alone. He's like when he's jabbering
Joe
on
Pesci
it, like
being Leonardo DiCaprio's
my
dad.
cousin Vinny.
I'm just seeing that.
Yeah, and then of course he'd also when Max flies off the handle. I mean, Pesci is that.
Yeah.
So I sort of it started out as a joke, but the more I thought about it, I was like, it would be really, he'd be really good as that.
Agent Denham, I would never recast Carl Chandler.
I
would put Carl Chandler in everything. But I thought Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah.
So I thought he could maybe go.
Yeah, not bad.
And then last,
it's no John Goodman, but it's not bad that.
And last one, see if you can see how I've got here.
Okay.
So for the Swiss banker,
yeah,
Vincent Cassel.
Very good. Yeah.
How do you reckon I got there?
I didn't actually know Vincent Cassel was Swiss.
No, he's French, but you know.
I was going to say, are you just picking this because he talks funny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entirely.
Right, cool.
He's a French person.
Yeah.
Who speaks French?
I think Vincent Cassel's way too nasty for that role.
he can do smooth. I think.
Well, I'm sure he can, but yeah, he's
hell of an actor.
He is a good actor. You
got any more?
No, that's me for that.
That was probably the longest we've done of that. That was quite a few, mainly because I did something.
Yeah, you've had a good call. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
2 good calls.
Thanks.
1 great call.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to production. And you said in your little intro, longtro, I don't know what we're going to call this,
it's not called a short tro, is it? Come on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. And I went with it, okay?
Yeah.
That you didn't spot as many kind of, I don't know, beautiful looking, good looking, well shot kind of
cool
things.
Yeah.
I thought there's a few kind of neat tricks.
There were some good ones, yeah.
That he'd done here. So I've said that and I've where am I?
Yeah. Any danger of naming any of them?
No, there were some though. Yeah, definitely. No.
Well, we can both agree on that. Shall we move on?
So right from the get-go, right, where they had the red Ferrari or Lamborghini or whatever it was, and then just the way that it goes. No, it was white, and it kind of cut away into that. I thought that was quite a neat trick. Some of the where they're off their face, stoned and things. Some of the tricks that he does in that to kind of give the sense that one or more of them are off their tits with it. So such as the steps at the country club.
Very good.
Where you went from like 6 steps to like 20 steps and then back again. I thought that was
very funny as well.
Yeah, fit it perfectly. Any from you that you did spot?
I mean, there's a couple of little bits of attention to detail I like when he goes into the stockbroker's office early on.
Mm-hmm.
The window's really dirty, but he's shooting through the window, which I quite liked. I just think it's really easy to just go, fucking, I'll clean that window. But, you know, he's left it in, and I took that to mean like he's on Skid Row a bit here, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's quite cool. I mean, the best shot bit in the thing for me is the banker's office when it's cutting back between the two of them, and behind Leo you've got like the lake and the mountains in the background, and then it cuts back to the banker, and it's the amazing fish tank and all the rest of it. I thought that was the best shot scene. Oh, I tell you what, I will also say there are some very sexy scenes in this.
Sure.
Just with sort of the framing and the lighting. I mean, I've got to say the pick of them has got to be where he's sniffing coke off her ass. And it made me think that Scorsese would direct one hell of a porno. Yeah. So I don't know. I know we said this previously.
About the Coen brothers porno.
No, the Coen brothers. Fuck the Coen brothers. Scorsese's your man.
I tend to agree with you. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's under 2 minutes, I'll be fine. I think just in terms of production, he does set the tone well as well. Like in the first scene, you kind of you're straight into what the tone of that first hour and a half is straight from the get go. It sets you up straight away. You talked about like the world building.
Yeah, well, so this is where I had my probably, besides the fact that it's too long, probably other underlying problem with this film. In that it does appear to be setting out to make Jordan Belfort cool. Now, I know you said, oh, well, if you think that, you've misunderstood what this is about. But I thought there were too many times when they didn't explain the background of stuff. They didn't say, hey, these are the real bad guys, the guys that are only handing out 18-month sentences for this, that, and the other. Yeah. And they just dismissed it, and they went straight back to, yeah, but look at this sort of debauchery. And I get that the point is it's fun, but I thought they were leaning too heavily into that and actually not fleshing out the rest of it enough.
Yeah, I think there will be a subsection of humanity who has seen this film and gone, oh, he's my hero, idolising this chap. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then in the film, it's a similar thing. When he has that article written about him, and it's essentially laid bare for who he is really. That he's a chancer who's kind of making it up as he goes along and ripping off the poor to give to himself, a twisted Robin Hood. And he's got people queuing up out the door because he makes lots of money, because money is the thing that's all they care about.
But that's the thing, they do that. And I wrote that bit down as well, because I said, what a weird thing to paint as negative, that he's stealing from the rich and giving to himself. No,
he's stealing from the poor to give to himself, wasn't he? Because he was doing all the penny stocks and exploiting people with less money. It does say in the Robin that he was stealing from the rich and giving to himself. But earlier on in the movie,
no, I know that. Yeah. But the film says stealing from the rich to give to the poor, right? And he goes off on one to himself. Sorry, yeah. And it's like, why make that negative? Then he goes off on one. It immediately cuts to, like you say, like suddenly he's like got this sycophantic mob, and they all love it. And again, I just felt like again and again this film just kept leaning into, isn't this cool? And that's the vehicle with which it's delivering its humour. I know that, but I did struggle with it a little bit because, and again, I mentioned comparing this to Casino. Casino, that first opening hour and a half, did such a good job of the world building for me, and did round out their characters a bit more. That isn't here. And when I make that comparison, I just think this was not as slick. This was not as rounded. This was not as well put together.
It's a lot louder than Casino is as well. It's a lot more
brash and
it's a lot more naked.
What do you think about the breaking the fourth wall? I think that's new, isn't it, for Scorsese?
It's not something I've noted from Scorsese before. Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd mechanism, isn't it?
And he only does it a couple of times
at the start, largely, and then when does he do it later?
He does do it later on, I'm sure.
Oh, he does it. It's still in the first sort of hour, though, isn't it, where he's explaining things, and that's where he kind of goes, look, you don't care. You don't know.
No, I think it's after it all starts to go wrong, he does one.
Oh, I can't recall that one.
I find it weird, because he didn't do it all the time.
I thought they'd just do it in voiceover as well. Like you could
Yeah.
have just done it in the narration, right? You're just explaining it as
Again,
the
like
narration over and
casino.
you don't care.
Yeah. No, I didn't. That whole bit. I mean, it's still good. I said this last week and the week before with Departed. Scorsese. Still good. I didn't think this is as well put together and as slick as that casino bit.
But I think it points to the fact that it's less of a serious film, this one, in that way, because you wouldn't have that in Casino because it would completely take you out of it and it wouldn't fit. Whereas this is ridiculous. Like, it's a ludicrous film. So actually having that and this narrator essentially be boastful and I think throughout, it just adds on top of layer after layer of excess and over the top and breaking the fourth wall. It's kind of similar silliness.
What do you think then? So, I mean, and I touched on this in my opening bit. Okay, you're not supposed to take it that seriously. Just enjoy the ride. What do you think about the running time and the length of it all? So
first time I watched it, I didn't have any issues with it, actually. And I thought, that breeze through. On rewatch, it's you feel the 3 hours.
See, I struggled with it the first time in a very linear fashion, right? Because I said I enjoyed the first hour of it. The second hour was, And the third hour I thought was pretty bad. Because at that point, it's sort of the story, again, similar to Casino, things have started to go wrong, it's dropped off.
I saw a very similarity with Casino and what we were talking about last week. In that last hour, it's like, is this a Scorsese thing? I'm going to have to start looking at his other films where the last hour just falls away a little bit. Yeah,
very, very similar. But actually, this time round, and you could just say, well, that's just length, tiny little bit. This time round, I thought it was actually, the length problems were less linear. And actually, most of it isn't tight enough. It needs to be...
in the scenes themselves.
Yeah, you need to just lose 30 seconds here and an exchange there. And so I sort of, all the way through, would find it a bit funny. And then just be going, oh, fucking hell, like, looking at my watch, this bit's dragging now, come on.
They were considering doing a 4.5 hour cut of the film as like a director's cut and thought better of it. I was like, that would be a push.
What else would you do?
I mean, it would just
more
be more
nudity, more cocaine.
I mean, speaking of the cocaine, you talked about the scene of doing it off a naked ass.
Yep.
Out of a naked ass?
No, it can't be out, can it? That seems much more dangerous for all involved.
So I kind of assumed that any cocaine use on a screen, there's some clever contraption where essentially the tube or whatever you're doing, it goes into it and it just stays there. It doesn't go into... Like, they're snorting like vitamin B a lot.
Yeah, and it has a laxative effect as well.
Like, there must be a better way.
I heard this on a podcast recently. They line the tubes with Vaseline so that some of it gets stuck. But if you're doing multiple takes, and especially in a film like Wolf of Wall Street, basically you will ingest a lot of this stuff, and it apparently has a laxative, quite a strong laxative effect.
Isn't going into your lungs or like some of it?
Well, all of it. That's how you ingest.
You get like bronchitis. I think Jonah Hill said he got like bronchitis doing all of this.
Yeah. In fact, the podcast I listened to explain that called this very movie out, and now you've reminded me when you said Jonah Hill with bronchitis, and they used that example to say, it was like...
It just seems like nowadays there must be a better way.
Don't do drugs, kids, even fake ones.
Crazy. What is the weirdest thing you've ever put up your nose?
Salt.
Oh? As part of tequila thing?
No, just being like...
lemon in the eye.
Just being like 16 and really stupid. Hey lads, this will be funny. Was not funny.
Did it bleed?
No, it didn't bleed, but it really hurt. My eyes fucking pissed with water. What about you? Anything?
Probably Lego.
Lego, yeah.
How about the use of music? We've talked about Scorsese's use of popular music with this. How did that?
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's still there.
It seemed less prominent though. I didn't notice as many. There was only one point where I was like, "Oh, this is good."
I agree, but I didn't know how much of that was down to the fact that I didn't recognise as many as the songs, and they're a bit more modern as well. In his sort of his mafia ones, he always goes like the whole doo-wop thing, right? And I don't know any of those songs either, but it's so stylistic. You're like, you're hearing that. And as we know, in some of the later ones, when he's doing like the Stones and those Dropkick Murphy songs and all the rest of it, you're like, wow, they've really got some punch. So I'm with you. I didn't notice it as much. There were still some. and I just don't know how much that's down to me rather than the film.
Yeah, Gloria, the song Gloria, but in Italian, they did, which I thought was really nice. I might actually stream that and listen to it because it was quite cool. But it fits the scenes. It continues to fit the scenes so well.
Yeah, he's very good at that.
We've talked about production for a long time. We've not really touched on nudity too much.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I know we're going to have to decree on this.
What do you mean? It's not a difficult decree, is it?
I'm sort of in two minds with it because the tone of the film is obviously what it is. And you sort of... It's like, I don't know, like... Is it out of step with the film, any nudity you see? No. I mean, I know that the alternative take is, but do you need to show all that full frontal? I don't know. And I'm in two minds about Margot Robbie's, because on the one hand, in that moment, she is showing that she will get her man and she's going to flaunt what she's got.
Yeah, using her body as her only form of currency kind of thing.
It becomes clear that, as she is really bratty, it becomes clear that is going to be her only sort of a move. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it is excessive. We can say that.
Yeah. That's it.
But then the film's excessive. So again, you sort of...
It's true. I mean, I think if anyone was wanting to point out a film with gratuitous nudity, this has probably got the most nudity that you would probably point and go like, well, that's gratuitous because there's so much of it, right? So there's got to be some gratuitous stuff in there. Picking that out, particularly difficult. Interesting with the Robbie naked introduction, as it were. So she had said that Scorsese had said that she could/should wear a robe or whatever it might have been, but she pushed for...
Yeah. Now, my problem with this is, and I don't doubt Scorsese actually meant that, because there's also stories that come out of him. I mean, we touched on one with the Sharon Stone, like nursing her through a couple of scenes and all the rest of it. I don't doubt that. My problem with this is...
Directors generally?
Somebody somewhere... Well, directors generally, but somebody somewhere in the big machinations of Hollywood is going, you need to do this. This is good for you. If
you can wear the robe, you're like, where is it? We put it really high up there. If you can get it.
You know, and trying to convince her that she's good for it. And like you said, she's like, 22, presumably like 21, 20 when this was initially being discussed. Yeah. It makes that, though, when you hear him talk about it like that, I feel like, also, intimacy coordinators are a relatively recent thing.
So was this 2013?
It's 2013. Now, they might have had one. They might not have needed one, I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing is just a bit like, I don't know. I just feel like somewhere... she's going to have been conditioned or pressured into thinking, you should do this sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe we're not giving her enough credit and she's empowered enough to do that.
We'll never know, will we? But,
I fear that it's definitely happened and will happen in the future.
And this is the thing, like, whatever the case of this one, it's fair to say that definitely goes on, which is, why we sort of go, is this a bit gratuitous? I don't know. Mostly I can do without it. I do think maybe it's in keeping with the vibe of this film. Yeah,
I tend to agree. Definitely. The scene that stood out a little bit with the nakedness, especially when I read about afterwards, was the writhing together on the bed of money, which apparently they got lots of paper cuts. Wasn't very comfortable. Imagine weighing. Indeed. Which got me thinking.
Oh, go on.
I want you to rank these three things in order of pain.
Oh, God. Right.
Are you ready? So just...
Childbirth at the bottom.
Give it some thought. No. So if you had to think about this, if you had to get one of these every single day of your life, what order would you put these in?
Okay.
Right. Yep. So we've got the paper cut, the biting your lip /cheek, accidentally, a blister on your heel.
This is fairly easy for me.
Go on.
I was going to say, where's the paper cut? It doesn't matter. Blister on my heel. I'll take that first.
Okay. Live with a permanent blister.
Don't mind. Am I allowed to pop it?
I mean, I'm not going to take away your fun.
Yeah, pop it. Stick it back down. It's fine. I live with that. I'll go for a blister on the heel. Next one, biting my lip inside my cheek. Very sharp, sudden pain, of course. But I don't even think that in its suddenness hurts as much as a paper cut. And I feel like a paper cut would bother me much more in the aftermath than biting your lip or your...
I thought a paper cut to the dick would have been first on your list, but that's fine. Whatever.
Oh, to the dick. Well,
sorry. I just assumed. I don't know. No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking biting my lip cheek might be the one I'd least
you
like
had
to get.
You had a good old cry about this last week.
It's the most pain.
I think you did actually say working childbirth as well, didn't you? Yeah.
So getting back to the nudity. R-rated, avoided the old NC-17 rating in the States. No idea what the NC stands for in that. Yeah, but it's basically the worst one, isn't it? I don't know what they cut out to make sure they didn't get that. Like, what was it in this whole thing where they're like, oh, no, you can't
if you lose that, you'll be all right.
I do wonder what this 4.5 hour cut did include.
Yeah, Christ almighty.
The film is banned in Malaysia, Nepal, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. Just, I thought, interesting. Those 4 countries in particular. But hey ho. You got anything else on production?
I thought that the cast was a lot more toned down for this one.
The
cast. Or the cast, as you would say.
The cast. It sounds very wrong when you say it.
Yeah.
That's not right at all.
Well, it also sounds very wrong when you say it. I just want you to know that. But, I mean, obviously we talked about the cast and we like a lot of what's going on there still. But compared to some of his other films that are stacked with A-listers in their own right...
I see what you mean. Toned down in that way. Got you.
This is very much Leo spearheading this, right?
Yes.
And again, I did wonder if that was a deliberate thing to really let Belfort shine. Because, I mean, the story obviously revolves around...
Yeah, there's cameos, obviously, with McConaughey, but beyond that...
So that was a difference.
Yeah, that's interesting.
which again, fed into my fucking distaste. Did you know about McConaughey and his humming and chest beating?
Yeah, I've read about it. I didn't know that until I read it as part of this, that it's essentially what he does.
Yeah, I think Scorsese...
In like a warm-up, and they saw it and were like,
So what's that you're doing? So I just help it to turn it right. We'll fucking do that on camera. And they end up making it into a whole song, don't they?
Yeah.
I thought that was quite good and quite interesting.
I thought Leo did play that really well, that scene. That whole, just like, he's almost like looking around going, fucking hell, what's going on here? Yeah. Is this a setup? What's going on here? This looks weird. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you take that, and I think that's I said at the start, I know we're getting away from production here, but his ability to sort of go from that to what he ends up being in the middle third, particularly, and then to where he ends up in the final third as well. He shows some range in it. Yeah.
The last note I have on production, which probably isn't even a production note, but I like to recognise these things, is very memeable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, you know...
Not as quotable. There's more long, quotey things.
Well, I don't know. No, because even the memes are implying the sort of the rest of the scene or the sentiment.
What are your favourite memes from this?
Well, I mean, you can't look past Absolutely Fucking Not. You get so much mileage out of that one. There's the other one, of course, where he bites his hand. You can use that, for loads.
I use the one of us thing a fair amount.
Oh dear,
one of us.
One of us. But it's just, I think it's always cool when a film penetrates popular culture in that way, because people would fucking kill for that, and you sort of you can't really create it. It just sort of happens, and they take on a life of their own. So yeah, that's quite a little cool thing about it, the way it sort of lives through those memes.
Definitely. So what would you change, Carl?
Fairly straightforward for me on production. I just think it's too long and needs tightening up.
I don't disagree, to be honest. Like, I definitely think it could be tightened up. As I say, on the first watch, didn't really notice it. I was in the cinema. I don't know if that makes a difference. It might make a difference.
Yeah, it probably does, to be fair. You're very much in a different headspace.
And then obviously second watch, you're not getting quite the surprise and the not knowing where it's going kind of thing as well. But yeah, I'm with you. There's certain scenes which are long and drawn out long and drawn out. They're long scenes.
I think I think
they're effective, but You could probably type.
I think even the Quaalude scene, right? Because there's loads of funny bits.
The lemons one.
Yeah, there's loads of funny bits in that.
Yeah.
But then a bit happens, and I'm like waiting for it to like, come on, then get to that. This is really dragging. And I remembered the flick back to his car. Oh, maybe I didn't get out anymore. I remember that being a lot quicker.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, that bit's funny.
Yeah.
And that bit's going to... And then by the time it came round, I was like, oh, it's there. They put it there
I thought that as well. I definitely remember it being...
Yeah. I thought it was a snappy thing of like, I got home in one piece, and then almost like...
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So... And that sums up a lot of my experience with these bits, because I sort of... They weren't as funny as I remember... The funny bits weren't as funny as I remembered them. And I think it is a lot to do with length and tightness.
There we go. We've done well. I don't think we've really made any cock jokes recently.
Recently? You mean in this particular podcast?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did the Play Your Fucks right. We should probably do, just review our podcast episodes, number of dick jokes per minute, and just and see where we get to with that.
Yeah, oh, you've got loads of mileage there. Like, by population, rank the countries that we've offended, which are the most offensive episodes.
Oh, there we go.
Population.
These games write themselves.
Yeah, great.
Okay, let's move on to the plot. So, again, we don't know what we're talking about. So, when I'm talking plot, I'm going to call out some of the scenes and things that are particularly enjoyed and appreciated. We've already talked about Mad Max, played by Rob Reiner. His scenes, hilarious when they're humouring him, winding him up. When the IRS allows for TNA, and he's like, TNA.
Yeah, you're talking about unscripted dialogue as well. That's got to be one of the areas where they were just sort of ripping him back and forth. That's got to be one of the areas where that kicked in.
But I thought Leo in that
sat down trying to stifle his giggles. You tell her this is your, come on, it's not my bill, you fucking...
It was good.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, I realised as I was writing them, a lot of them are from the first half of the film, of the scenes and the bits that you particularly enjoy and found entertaining.
Okay, so there's a nice segue there.
Go on.
Into this plot is Casino, in that we have the setup for the guy's operation that runs very smoothly, and they live the life of Riley for a little bit, and then it all goes off the rails, and his personal life starts falling apart.
Yeah, okay, there's similarities, yeah.
Right. My problem with the plot, and let's get this out of the way before we can go on to talk about all the funny bits, my problem with the plot is there is, unlike Casino, there's no ending to this. He hasn't got a big ending in this film.
No. Goes to play tennis in prison.
Yeah, and... Casino's obviously got that sort of Godfather-type homage where they all get blown up and whatever. And then you end with a very sharp, just 5 minutes of, exposition of this is what happened to us afterwards, and a couple of... And that didn't happen here. We had what you might consider to have been an ending with the boat scene, and that's the final nail in the coffin of it all going wrong.
Yeah.
And then we have, another 20 minutes after that where it just limps home. So, again, you're talking, if we're trying to talk plot and how it moves the way through the movie, I think it is a very similar structure to Casino, but it just never hits the heights in that slick first bit, and then the rest of it just sort of drags and falls apart at the end for me.
I think it's a fair point with the ending bit. I did find that the last hour seemed to just go on, continue to be going on a little bit.
And I do think it's mostly a structural thing with that. So anyway, let's talk about some funny bits.
Yeah, I mean, just on the plotting / story, enjoyed the sort of the bit at the start, the rapid journey from his introduction to Wall Street to then it all falling apart to then the basic cold calling in the crappy building, call center style, cold calling with a script, doing the script and building the company, making the company a huge success, and then comes all of the excess and everything with it. Really did enjoy that part of the movie, and then when it starts to all go wrong.
Would you shave your head for 10,000?
Sure.
It's worth about 30,000 in today's money.
Would I?
Yeah.
Sure.
You do that?
Yeah.
Would you?
I'd do it for a tenner.
You wouldn't be scared that it's not going to grow back. Roll the dice, maybe it will go back.
Can you imagine? Come in a few days later with a full head of hair. Well, that's all I needed to do. Yeah, would you?
I mean, I would be a little scared it's not going to grow back, although...
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not how hair works.
I'm nearly 40. Yeah, but you never know. It's there now.
Would you keep the beard if you shaved the head?
Yeah, you'd have to. I can't have this silly round head.
Then you'd be like
naked.
Upside down head.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Better that than just this...
You'd be like that Guess Who character.
Silly round head. Yeah, what's his name?
Bernard, probably.
No, he's not Bernard. Anyway, him. It's dollars though, innit? So...
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
No, I won't bother then. No, it's dollars, I won't bother.
So what were some of the funny bits that you did appreciate?
So for Jonah Hill, his cousin scene at the start of the bar,
so well delivered.
He did deliver that very well. I thought that was quite funny.
So he's the brother of my mother's.
Yeah,
father.
It's not like just set him free or something like that. Wild.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even the climb down is like,
no,
I'm only
take him
joking.
somewhere
We'll just put him in an institution. It's like, even the climb down's cold. So.
I wonder how much of that was scripted as well.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is delivered very well. That was quite funny.
I think even the McConaughey scenes, we talk about jerking off.
I myself jerk off twice a day.
A few times with rookie numbers.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
Really did enjoy it.
He's very cool in that. Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about how it's ridiculous, over the top, obscene parts of it, and at one point, I think it's Mad Max that says, "Crazy, this is obscene," like literally calling out that it is just ridiculous. The discussion about the dwarfs, and where they're talking in the office, like round the table, about what you can and can't do and what they will and won't do. It's just the most offensive thing I've probably heard on film for a while, and I imagine there would be people that watch that and getting offended by it, when obviously the whole intent of it is just to show what fucking animals they are, and obscene human beings that they are, that they're essentially talking to them like they are a piece of cattle, or something less than human. The bald from the eyebrows down, which you've alluded to already, that conversation between father and son.
Yes.
Very much appreciated that. Again, I have a feeling that was somewhat off script as well.
Dad's like really enamoured by that. And then he just goes to, at the end, I like a bush. Yeah. Your mother. Hell of a bush. Yeah, that was funny. What about the gay butler?
The what?
The gay butler.
The gay butler was good.
Yeah. Again, it's delivery on that one. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, get out! Yeah, I thought that was funny.
And we've talked briefly about the the Lemons scene at the country club, and that did have me in stitches, particularly when I first watched it, opening the car door with his foot, which apparently injured his back doing.
Oh, really?
Only shot once.
Yeah, he's getting into some shapes, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean that's the physical comedy that he commits to on this is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we haven't talked about, is we've talked about the boat scene with the FBI, which was a fantastic scene with Carl Chandler in. The nursery scene with the Teddy Cam, where she sat there in the short dress after they've had a fight. He's going to make up with her, and she's kind of
funny though. I don't know if it's.
It's pretty funny.
No, not for me. I didn't. That was a bit. Meh.
A bit meh.
Yeah. That was like. I was going to say serious, but nothing serious about this film.
No.
That was more of a bit of like them just being dickheads to each other. Like she's trying to manipulate him again with the only thing she's got, and then he turns around and goes, "Well, I didn't win that, so I'll just hurt you in a different way." I was like, "Oh, look at your world that I control." Say hi, Rocco. No, I can't. Not one of the ones I laughed at, I have to say.
Fair enough.
What about the bank scene when we are hearing their thoughts?
Where they're talking to each, where it's the Swiss banker versus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because they did it later as well with the Joanna Lumley character, Aunt Emma as well. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Oh, I quite like that bit, you see. Like, yes, I understand you perfectly. You
It made me laugh, but I don't know, as a device, I don't know. It seems, again, a bit like cheating.
I thought he was cheating. You've got such a weird sense of, like, what's allowed and what's not allowed in any given moment.
I don't know. It made me laugh. Like, I thought
I thought it was quite cool. I liked him. I mean, I really liked the banker in terms of being a solid gold shit. He was very funny.
Oscar winner?
Not for this, surely.
No, for the artist.
Yeah, okay. So I quite like that scene. I thought that was quite funny. He does say, I've written down this, I don't remember which bit this was from, so maybe you do, where he says, so sorry for your loss, and he's like beaming this wide smile.
I can't remember that.
And I don't think it was the bit where Aunt Emma dies.
I think it probably is.
I thought it was before that. I thought there was another.
That would be the only bit that would make sense, though, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it was that. Anyway, there's a bit in there when he's delivering that, and again, DiCaprio is quite funny with that. Like, obviously he's not really sorry. It's just like, yeah, maybe it's that bit, and he's like going fucking yes or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's going off and going, right, we got to get across.
We've got to go to Monaco.
She'll be dead when we get to London. Don't worry about it. She'll still be dead. That's it. Yeah, it must be that. Oh, that was quite funny. Oh, I'll tell you what, though. I hate how he says twat.
Who says twat?
Well, he says...
Is he twat?
Yeah, it's twat. He says, like, when he's saying about the newspaper articles, you get total fucking head job, this twat.
That is the American way that they say it, though, isn't
it's
it?
really annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying.
And
why would it be that?
I don't know. And I think Margot Robbie says it later as well. I noticed it definitely at least
I didn't
twice.
notice her say it.
Yeah, fucking twat, honestly. How do you say twat?
I mean, it's twat. I don't put an R in it.
Yeah, it's not twat.
Twat.
Why not? See,
why not? I mean,
even in your regional language, which is not your fault, inconsistent.
Yep. What can I say?
Yeah.
I'm consistent in my inconsistency.
Absolutely.
As I've consistently said.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You got anything else?
No, just how I would have liked to have seen it changed.
How would you change the plot then?
Honestly, I would quite like it if they didn't make Belfort so cool. Because I still think you could deliver the ridiculousness of the movie without having him... The movie always strive to make out that he's really cool. And I know that it's based on his book, although if you've ever listened to Jordan Belfort speak in real life, you'll realise that's 90% lies. I know it's based on his book, and Scorsese is obviously wanting to stay true to that idea. But it's like, but you don't have to. You can take that and go, Wall Street's fucking crazy, right? Let's take some of these things that happened and whatever. I would like it if they didn't make him so cool, and they, I don't know, just had him like, be a bit more rounded as well, because he's got so few redeeming features.
No, he's a complete arsehole.
Yeah.
Like, he's an irredeemable arsehole.
And that makes it hard for me to then keep thinking, isn't this guy cool? Which I think is...
Oh, see, I didn't ever think that he was cool. He's just a ridiculous human being that has the sycophantic followers because they want what he has, which is money,
and I guess
outlandish sex and unlimited drugs and
ultimately that is the way I took it too, even if I wanted it to be different. My problem with it just wore thin, Right, look, that's never going to happen, but I do think you could make a very positive improvement to this film if the ending was the boat sinking, and that is your big final set piece.
Yeah, I think I do see the point with that, because once you have the final, then bits on top on top.
You can still allow
really go
yourself
anywhere either, because it doesn't even have the big payoff at the end of him getting sentenced to.
It really falls over the line in this film. You can still have yourself 2-3 minutes on screen of whatever you want, and then you can put up a couple of slides and say, he went on to divorce over this, whatever. But that would be the thing I'd change. What about you? Nothing, mate. Loved it.
I mean, I see your points that you've raised. There was nothing that stood out to me upon rewatch that I would have changed plot-wise as such. But the points you've raised are fair,
as usual.
Sure they are
reasoned.
right, let's move on to the This Is Why You're Wrong. A kind of closing statement from each of us. Do you want to go first, Carl? Do you want to go second today? What do you fancy?
I'll go second, so
All
I can
right.
try assassinate your points afterwards.
Oh, yeah, there's no points.
Okay.
So my main summary of this is that I don't think it's a serious film, and I don't think it should try to be interpreted as such. And I'm hopeful. I think you even said those words. So I'm hopeful you're not going to come at it from that angle. For me, it's Wall Street on speed, which you've referenced Wall Street. It's also Wall Street on cocaine and Quaaludes and whatever else you can think of and put inside you and get high off of. But I said earlier, there'll be a group of people that love this film because they idolize what is on screen and see Belfort as this kind of hero without recognizing that you're meant to kind of be shocked and almost pitying and laughing at them in the crazy, or at least at the craziness of the situation and where they get themselves to it.
The same people that think Al Murray just wants his country back.
Do they actually exist?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this film does not focus on the victims of all of that excess and all of the illegality that happens. That is a different film. That we're not talking Margin Call. We're not talking the other one that I mentioned earlier, which I've now forgotten. I found this film a lot of fun, particularly the first couple of hours. It has, I said it wasn't very quotable as such as that there's funny parts to it, but it's less the lines, but very memeable, as we've already said. But I did feel like the last hour on rewatch was a bit of a weakness of it. But I did still enjoy it on rewatch.
Yes, well, the problem I've got here, if I wanted to be very generous to you, is we haven't really disagreed on much of this, because I think you are right. You're not supposed to take this film seriously. The fact that I wish it was a bit more serious, because I think they could have delivered a better film, is really neither here nor there. As to whether it's any good or not. Nevertheless, I struggled to find much to sort of keep me in it, because I just don't think it's funny enough. And of course, we agree that there are lots of funny bits, and we talked about those.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't funny enough, I start to wander and look for other things. I think, well, that annoys me, that annoys me, that annoys me. So yeah, I can't say that I'm expecting to talk you around either, but I am gonna stick at I don't like this film.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I probably enjoyed it less the second time round, but I did still enjoy it. So I'm probably closer to the like than I was. I still really like it, but I could be convinced.
Give him time.
I could be convinced that it goes down to, you know, I'll say what I rated it on IMDb. It could drop a number on there and still be in that sort of high, like really like.
It's a one-joke movie. This is the thing, isn't it? I know that they do lots of different acts of debauchery with that joke and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
but it is very much centered around. This is outrageous. This guy's a cunt. Look at all the drugs and sex
for 3 hours. Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that seems perfectly natural. That the more you watch it, the less funny it's going to get, and the less engaging it's going to get.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see. I'll rewatch it next weekend.
Yes.
Okay, we'll finish things off with the data section. So the final hour of the podcast is coming in, and we're gonna finish a little bit quicker than what this movie did. So first off, the ratings. So looking at Letterboxd, it's a 4.0, 4.0. IMDb 8.2, so pretty close alignment.
Very close
there. 75 Metacritic score, so not quite there, but I reckon that'll be a lot of Ponzi critics going, yeah, just no, don't have sense of humour. I rated it originally 9 out of 10 on the IMDb.
Ooh, big.
Yeah, big. As I say, it might drop down to an 8 on reflection. I'll give it a little bit of time to sink in. I think it's a solid 4 out of 5 on the Letterboxd, so that would maybe equate. So I think that's where it'd sit for me. What have you rated it on the Letterboxd?
2.5.
Changed? Did it change from when you?
Nah, 2.5. 2.5. Not. I mean, it's not really anything to do with the fact I don't like it. I mean, it is because it's really difficult to separate the two things. But I genuinely think it is not one of Scorsese's best work. 2.5 is maybe a little harsh, but nah, it's 2.5 for me, which is a perfectly acceptable score.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. It's average. He's produced an average movie. I don't like it, but he's average.
So this was nominated for 5 Oscars. We kind of mentioned a couple of them already. So Leo got the nomination for the lead actor, didn't win.
Yeah, I was
Jonah
12
Hill.
Years a Slave.
I don't know, actually. I didn't see what won.
12 Years a Slave won a lot of Oscars that year. I don't know if the lead...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even try and pronounce his name without having done a little bit of research first, though.
Oh,
So
couldn't tell you.
butcher it. We said about Jonah Hill getting his second supporting actor nomination for this after Moneyball. Yeah, after Moneyball. Didn't win. Martin Scorsese, Best Director. Didn't win. Adapted Screenplay. Didn't win. And Best Picture. Didn't win. So a fair few nominations, but no wins. So using our new scale that we introduced last week, the week before?
Yeah, last week, I think.
Rewatchability. Where's this sitting on your rewatchability scale on our...
I honestly agonised over this because I did think, where do I think this is compared to The Departed, right? Another Scorsese film I was cold on. I'm like, yeah, but this one is a lot more single track and light-hearted, whereas Departed, I think, is a bit crap for a different reason. And that, I think, does lend itself to being more rewatchable because you just sort of put it on. But it's the runtime again.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was really, really torn by this. I think ultimately I am edging to that no. But it was a close call.
See, I'd started off going very yes, and I think I've maybe just come down to it. Yes, I think it's a yes. I think it's a yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be rewatchable. It's the length. Again, if it was a 2 hour, it'd be fairly frequent, I reckon. You could crack that on and have a bit of a...
It'd be a very unthinking film. Just bang it on and... look,
bits.
tits, drugs, haha.
That should have been the name of the podcast.
It's not too late.
Best scene.
Okay, so...
Was there a bar scene?
No, well, there's the scene with with Mark Hanna at the start where he takes him out for the drinks.
In a restaurant.
Yeah, he's in a restaurant, but
stretching
they're
it
not
out,
doing much
Carl.
eating, are they?
It's true.
But no, my best, and I did like that scene, by the way, but my best scene is the Swiss banker, that first meeting.
Okay.
I think the shots are incredibly framed in that one. I like the sleazy Swiss banker. Honourable mention to the boat with Carl Chandler.
Yeah.
But I think the Swiss bank scene edges it for me. What about you?
Yeah, I was between the boat scene and the Lemons country club escape down the stairs.
Yeah, and I did laugh at bits of that, but again, it dragged on a bit for me.
So yeah, I think I settled on the Lemons thing, but the boat scene with the Carl Chandler, it gets extra Carl Chandler points. So,
Yes, and it's not even particularly funny, that scene. It's just a very cool scene.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's definitely not. It's not a funny one.
No,
it's one where
that's one of the plot device scenes that let's move things along a bit. Yeah.
And he also gets laid bare as being like outsmarted.
Yeah, no, you really are just a prick.
Yeah,
you really are.
You think you're being smart doing this? You think you no?
Yeah.
Best quote? You've got one?
I've got 3. Two honourable mentions.
Go on
then. I can't get away from as a 2 Mark Hanna ones. Is 2 more every 5 minutes until one of us passes the fuck out. I thought that was a really great way to round off that bit.
When he's doing his proper accent,
it's so good. And then just water for me, and he's like, "First day on Wall Street, give him time." Like, He's just so cool in that bit. But I like the until one of us passes the fuck out bit. And then, of course, another one from that goes, I myself jerk off twice a day. It's like,
I mean, you were like, rookie numbers, mate.
yeah, you want to pump those numbers up. But no, my favourite one is actually one of Margot Robbie's.
Oh, mine too.
When he's going, who?
Yes,
What are you, a fucking owl?
That's mine. I love that.
That was probably the moment in the film I laughed most at, I think.
I thought it was a great line. It's also stolen from Heat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's very good, and she delivers it very well. And
Really
that
does.
whole exchange is sharp. So yeah, that was my best one.
Yeah, me too. Look at that.
Oh, there you go.
No. Favourite character? So you said there were two characters you actually liked.
Well, Mark Hanna, because even though he's a shit and he's still part of all of that, he's just so cool.
Yeah.
It's
Agent Denim for me, for the
which I can see, but yeah, I would have to go for Mark.
It's hard to say a favourite character is any of the other assholes. You know? They obviously serve a purpose, and without them, it would be a very different film. But I think, and we can't go for the main character.
No, I wouldn't, mate. Jesus Christ.
Tearjerker?
No.
Very no.
Yeah, very no. Yes, very no. That's what we should put in there.
And we've already kind of talked about the gratuitous nudity. Is it a jerker? I mean, I put very yes, but after discussing it,
I think you've got to come down to a yes. You maybe even go in meh, but let's say yes. Let's say yes, because there's a lot of it.
Indeed. Okay, now before we get to the teased five-a-side football team of Scorsese characters,
I'm so excited.
we've done our Scorsese trilogy, right? So now let's see where this sits in your in the Scorsese filmography for you.
Yeah.
Just to warn you, I've seen 10 Scorsese films that I can actively remember and form some sort of opinion on.
Yeah.
I may have seen Boxcar Bertha. I can't remember. It didn't leave an impression if I did. So that's where I'm at. I don't know how many you've got in your list as a comparison piece.
Do your list. I've come at it slightly differently, but it's along the same sort of veins.
Okay.
Do your list first.
All right. So, where am I? Oh, there. So at the top is Goodfellas for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most Scorsese one that I most enjoyed, that I'll most go back to. It's a classic. We'll very much depart on this one because it's The Departed. And then The Wolf of Wall Street is my third one.
What fucking streets about there?
Yeah. And then it comes onto Raging Bull. I put Shutter Island, then The Aviator, Taxi Driver, Casino, Gangs of New York, and Hugo.
You have done Casino so dirty. What is going on there? So I tell you what I've got. I've got a top three, and then I've got 3 films that I was really disappointed in. Now, in the middle of those, I've got other films that I know aren't in my top 3 and definitely aren't in my bottom 3. And a couple of those, to be honest, are films that I haven't watched in so long.
Yeah.
They're up for debate as well, but like...
Gangs of New York is one of those. Like,
yeah.
I need to rewatch that, I think.
Same.
I think I'm criminally I might be really underrating this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the same. And then, like, Taxi Driver, I've seen fond memories of it. I could watch it again and be like, oh, actually, I don't know. But it definitely doesn't enter my consciousness as, oh my God, this is a real miss. Same with Raging Bull, to be honest with you. My favourites, and it was really tight at the top, because I could have so easily put Goodfellas first.
Yeah, you went Casino then?
No, I've gone Shutter Island.
Oh,
I really like
Shutter
Shutter Island.
Like Shutter
I think that's a really smart film. And similarly, that is another one that you can watch again and again, and it does just keep on giving you a fresh perspective on it. And even though you'll never relive that first time and that twist, you still get to watch it and notice more stuff every time. You go, there's no cup in his hand in this bit, and he's. So I think it's a really smart film. So I mean, look, having said that, I would definitely watch Goodfellas more regularly than Shutter Island, because it's just so easy to bang on. It's such a good film.
Yeah.
Casino's my number 3.
Okay.
For me, there's not a lot to separate Goodfellas and Casino at all.
So what's your bottom 3 then?
Yeah, I was really let down by all of these because I thought they were going to be good and I wanted them to be good. Wolf of Wall Street isn't in my bottom 3. I don't like it. I don't think it's especially great. but it doesn't. I didn't particularly have high expectations to it. So sort of third from bottom, I guess you'd say, is The Departed. I really thought that it's another mob thing. It's not the mob, but it's another mob thing. You think classic Scorsese territory, and I was really disappointed with how flat that fell. Similarly, The Irishman.
See, I've not seen The Irishman, and there's not a lot of it that's making me want to either. I will probably will at some point. But it's like 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. I went to the cinema to see it. And for the first hour,
definitely not the audio.
I was just like in heaven with it because it is like pure nostalgia. The music's all that. It looks amazing, and then it is so long, and there is just not enough there to keep it going at all. And so by the end of it, you're like, oh my god, this is such a disappointment. So I'm really. There's supposedly somebody's put like some running times on. Say, well, look, if you actually break it up into 4. It makes a lot of sense as a miniseries.
Right.
So watch from this minute to this minute episode. And I think that is worth a go. I think if you haven't seen it, track that and that's worth a go to get through it. But I was really disappointed by that. And then the other one I've got is Killers of the Flower Moon.
See, I've not seen that again yet. So it's a bit of a gap. It's 2 most recent ones I've not seen.
I thought that was very, very... I don't want to say boring because that's such a fucking basic term.
Pedestrian?
Yeah, it just like, for all, like people say that, oh, it's just so brutal. It's got such a great backstory. It shows you from their side of things, this Osage Nation. I didn't see any of that. I was like, it doesn't really. So I was really, really disappointed in that because that received such acclaim. And I was excited to sit down with it. And do you know what? There's some good things about it. Like DiCaprio is good in that. He's played a different role again. He's showing off that he's grown a bit as an actor. But the whole product for me, I was just like, no, this is... we're really getting into that self-indulgent phase here. And it fell really flat for me. So, yeah, there we have it.
All right. Sorry, I was just doing a little bit of research just while you're doing that. Okay, I mean, I want to apologise in advance because I will probably have upset a lot of people with these order of things, having Taxi Driver so
it's your order, mate. Tell them to start their own podcast.
Casino. Yeah, well, damn right. Yeah, exactly. No, actually, don't, because we don't need the competition. Thanks. You're right.
Oh, nobody's listening to this anyway. Don't worry about
it. So we get to what is the highlight of the show because you brought non-alcoholic beer, so that was usually the highlight.
Yeah. All right, so I've got some questions though.
Yeah, go on.
What are the rules?
Formation.
What are the rules here? Well, no, formation we can get onto, but are we allowed?
Let me just stop here. Right. So this is what I said to Carl. Do you fancy doing a 5-a-side football of Scorsese characters? And I think Carl's response was, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
that was it. So we didn't discuss rules. We didn't discuss anything. So go on. What was your question?
Listen, I put in the work. I've thought about this.
Yeah, fine.
Are we allowed real life characters? So Jake LaMotta. Because that's not a Scorsese character, is it?
Yeah,
he's not.
Yeah, he's a character in a Scorsese film. Yes.
Right, because I've not got any of
the
these.
Jake LaMotta in the film is not going to be the same as the Jake LaMotta in real life, regardless if they're similar.
Same, yeah. All right. Well, I've not got any of those, but okay. So it sounds like you might have. The other thing is, are we allowed the same actor twice?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, right.
Yeah, they're different characters. They are in the film world. They are completely different people, even if they might look quite similar.
Okay, so I had contingency for those because I wanted to name the same character twice, or I now have a bench.
Okay, cool. Well, it's important because I imagine some of their fitnesses is going to be a bit of a struggle. So.
Well, formation-wise, you mentioned formation.
Sure.
I mean, it's because it's only 5-a-side. I was really tempted to just stack it.
With what you can do.
Well, I was tempted to just stack it with Tekkers and just go. It's total football. You're all
sure.
But I've not done that. I've gone with a 1-2-1.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's a nice
stand. From my experience of coaching junior football, it's a solid 5-a-side formation.
Yeah. Okay.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to do yours then mine? Do you want to go position by position?
Because
we've got the same formation.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's start with the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone with Travis Bickle, Taxi Driver.
Okay.
In goal.
Yep.
You've got to be mentally unhinged to be a goalkeeper. Let's face it.
Play quite a lot of time in goal myself.
There you go. Point proved.
Mm-hmm.
Proven? Proved? Jesus. Stick to an alcoholic beer. And that vigilante spirit will really come in handy when you're crazy.
I know what you're
goalkeeper in
saying.
five-a-side.
I know what you're saying.
Small and agile as well.
I've taken some of that. Well, you see, I've gone with someone who is a terrier, ferocious, because you've got to be chucking yourself at people's feet, and also someone who's faster and more agile than Travis Bickle. I've gone for Tommy DeVito.
Oh, okay. He's
made
my team.
Seen that knife in Goodfellas? He's got some real snap about him as Tommy.
Okay, yeah. Tommy DeVito does make my team, but he's obviously flexible. He's got some position flexibility.
He's a terrier.
Yeah.
He's my goalkeeper.
Who's your defender?
Well, because I've got the techers elsewhere, because again, tempted to go with someone a bit more cultured that's five-a-side here, but my team was lacking an enforcer, so I've gone for Travis Bickle in defence.
Okay, right, okay, cool, right. So I've gone for Jake LaMotta in defence, right? So tough, resilient, old school defender. Nothing's getting past him. Plus,
after all, before the timber.
I was going to say, plus in his fatter days, provides a proper barrier on a small pitch. So could
it's easy to
depending on how long the game goes on for, and he piles it on.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm going for. You'll see a bit of a theme in some of my pitch. You're not leaving this pitch alive. Like any games that come on. Like there you go. Midfield.
So I've gone for an organiser, Ace Rothstein, pulling the strings.
Interesting. So I wanted one of my midfielders to really play on the wing and be a proper, tricky player. So someone who's particularly fond of the white lines would be helpful here. So I was going to go for Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street. He's creative. He provides plenty of opportunities, whether legal or not. But I did decide to go in a different direction and went for Staff Sergeant Dignam from The Departed, the Mark Wahlberg character, whose, I think, creative language translates to creativity on the pitch, and whilst also maintaining that grit that you need as well to be able to get stuck in. So creativity combined with the grit, he's one of my two midfielders. What's your second?
The second one, again, and this is where I've paired De Niro with De Niro, because I've gone Jimmy Conway. Absolute smooth operator, absolute techers on the boy. He will just be gliding all over the pitch. You won't be able to keep up with him.
So this is where Tommy DeVito comes in for me. This midfield, you're not getting out alive.
That's a really combative midfield.
It is. Like, no one's getting past. He's a Roy Keane style, like, at his worst. Midfield enforcer, tough guy, cut down the opponents, winning tackles, likely to get sent off / imprisoned. But, you've got Dignam, you've got DeVito, the double Ds in midfield. You're not getting past them.
Up front, I've got Nicky Santoro for similar reasons as to why Tommy DeVito is in goal. Absolute terrier. He's going to be snapping at the defenders. He's going to win turnovers. He's going to be poaching. He's going to be sniffing around the box. A real presence up there. A real annoyance.
And I went for Jordan Belfort up front. So his goal celebrations alone would be well worth watching. Just imagine where he's going to pull a candle from. Just imagine the sort of things he's going to be running onto the pitch to celebrate with him. He's got that confidence, he's got the self-belief and that one-track mind necessary for a striker as well. I think, nailed on.
Right, before we pit these two against each other, allow me to take you through my bench, which were really my alternatives for review.
I also have a manager as well.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
So if you want to do your bench first.
Yeah, let me do my bench, because these were the guys I was going to say if you said I couldn't have the same actor twice. Now, actually, these both might be better, actually.
Oh.
So if I'm going to have to sub out a De Niro, I've got to leave the organiser on there. I've got to leave the chief architect in Ace Rothstein.
Sure.
Jimmy Conway comes out for Vincent Laurier. The Colour of Money.
Oh, right, okay. That's a gap on my Scorsese.
The techers on this boy. Unbelievable techers, right? You just... what he can't do...
Who's he played by in that?
Tom Cruise. What he can't do with the ball is not worth knowing.
Liking that, yeah. I think that would have been a better choice.
Yeah. So it's just, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sub him in. Fuck off, Jimmy Conway. You can manage. If I had to sub out a Pesci, and again I think this might be better, I've gone for Deadly Dingham as my striker. I mean, deadly. He's a finisher.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah. There we go. Good stuff. My manager was Ace Rothstein.
Yeah, fair point.
Thought
Yeah, fair
shrewd operator, knows how to run things smoothly, focus on strategy, analytics, maintaining order within a team, and who's going to control Tommy DeVito and?
Well, the problem is
midfield
in
David,
fact,
come on.
and this comes on to pitting them against each other, is he can't control them. He thinks he can do it all by himself.
That's true.
So
Perfect manager.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You're inevitably going to get a clash at some point. He's going to lose the dressing room, and he's going to blow up because he can't deal with it.
Fair point.
I think the real problem you've got with my team is you think you're going to be able to take Rothstein out, and you're just going to get nowhere near him because he's always 3 moves ahead.
Yeah.
And then what? Vincent Laurier is just going to make your boys look like an absolute.
Yeah, I do. And
Absolute.
The lack of skill in midfield could really be.
And in
to
5
my
aside, that's
detriment.
terminal. That's
Yeah.
terminal in 5 aside.
I mean, you will leave the pitch with broken legs.
You won't. I promise you, you will not get near them. So I played football once against Stuart McCall.
Oh yeah.
And he was about 5 years out of retirement by this point, and he retired at like 40 or something in the lower leagues. So he's out of shape and all the rest of it. And I thought, being the fit young whippersnapper that I was at the time, I'm going to kick Stuart McCall. Could not get near the cunt. Could not get near him. I could definitely run faster than him, right? I just couldn't get near him because wherever I thought he should be, he'd moved off there.
He was there.
He was there about 3 moves ago, 3 passes ago. And then you go, well, how's he there now? So, yeah, do not underestimate the capability of intelligent footballers to make you look like a fucking dickhead.
Good stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, you gave it a lot of thought. I appreciate that.
Well,
So-
listen,
well
if nothing else, I put the work in.
Hey, look, it might come back. Who knows? If we get another director that we do a few
Yeah,
films,
we-
or we can pit them. We could
a
have
big
a
one.
Scorsese versus another director 5-a-side, and on we go. And if you get really big, then we can actually get the actors themselves, and we'll just put them in a charity match.
Yes.
Sorted. Some of them probably dead.
I was going to say, I'm just looking down the list now.
I think we're okay.
No, we're sound, yeah. I do have concerns about Joe Pesci's ability to do 30 minutes there.
Was he 84, 85 or something by now?
Yeah.
I think that would be.
I mean, I don't have the striker problem anymore, but even in goal, Jesus Christ.
All right, Carl. I think that's all we've got. Is that all we've got?
That is all we've got.
All right, guys. So if we moved the needle for you, even if we didn't, please do get in touch with us. You could also be like Ben from Buffer and get your email read out on the show. So do contact us by email at hello@mtnpod.com. All feedback will be shared, regardless of how wrong it is. So also please rate us, follow, subscribe, whatever it is that you have to do on the various platforms. It really does help. You can also get us on the socials, on Twitter and Instagram, MTN Movie Pod, and on our page on Facebook. And I think Carl's trying to do some TikTok stuff when he gets some time. So from me and Carl, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.
And I did say at the start of the show, Carl, that I don't have time for this. So I think I'm just going to have to... This will be the last one. I think we're leaving.
Oh, dear.
We're not leaving. We're not fucking leaving!
Well, that'll be plosive.
The show goes on. This is our home. They're going to need a fucking wrecking ball to kick us out of here. That's it. I'm done.
I won the football.